I know that I've made a difference. I know that it's an amount that I might have donated over the years anyways, but this is a lump sum. And then the charity itself,
I think charities love to get one-time gifts for sure. But if you're looking at trying to build a program or a project or whatever, and if that donor can give some clarity and transparency and commitment of money, that really elevates what those charities can do.
Welcome to another SOS We Are Community podcast, sharing current SOS news and valuable information with the community we serve from the Patio Studio in downtown Parksville. I'm Lissa Alexander, SOS Communications Manager. So today we're going to discuss a strategic way to make a gift to a charity that is both flexible and tax efficient. So those are known as donor advised funds. So our first guest is Brenda Charles, and she is an SOS volunteer board member, and she's also a donor advised fund donor. So Brenda, welcome.
thank you.
So our next guest is Bonnie Cyre. She's a financial advisor with Raymond James, and she's just going to explain a little bit more about what donor advised funds are. Welcome, Bonnie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
So tell me, why did you decide to support SOS with a donor advised fund?
So in the past, I have made different donations with charities and that, sometimes monthly donations or one-time donations. But in conversation with my financial advisor, and I was looking for ways to reduce my tax payments, he suggested that I consider looking into a DAF. I'd never heard of it before, so it was just something to consider.
So tell me, what is a donor advised fund, and how can people use it?
Well, a donor advised fund is basically a vehicle that allows people to make donations, whether it be through their own stocks or investments or whatever. The financial institution helps the donor with the donor advised funds to make regular charitable contributions or donations on an annual basis and does the required filing for them.
The paperwork can get kind of overwhelming, and you have to keep track of it, and every year you're collecting that for your taxes and that. This is really, have found now that it's very simple.
So I think they're just a great vehicle from that point of view, and they provide what is an efficiency and ease that wasn't always there.
What are the tax benefits of contributing to a DAF, and how do they differ from other charitable donations?
There's some very direct tax benefits. One of them that I would mention is the capital gains tax associated with a stock contribution. If you use a stock contribution, you have an inherent capital gains in that stock. You've owned it for many years. You can kind of benefit by two ways. One is you won't have to pay the capital gains tax when you make a direct deposit to your DAF. And second, you will receive the tax benefit in the year which that you make that donation to the DAF. One of the things that I have seen that has been a tremendous growth is using it as an estate planning tool. And if you're okay with me sharing one example that I think hits everybody, is that we all go through our working years, savings for our retirement savings plan. And then upon the time you retire, you turn it into a retirement income fund. And in a couple, if one of those couples within that couplehood passes, their retirement income fund will transfer automatically without tax or any implications to that spouse. When that last spouse passes, what a lot of people don't realize is the value of your RIF at the time of your passing is deemed to have been what we call deregistered and is in full income in that year. So one of the ways that we have worked with our clients to have their estate be as tax efficient as possible is we designate their DAFT, as a direct beneficiary with the RIF. And in your last year of life is the only time that Revenue Canada will allow you to make a charitable donation that's equal to your income. So what happens, as an example, if you have a RIF and it's $500,000, it's deemed to have been sold that day you passed. So that sets your tax rate for the rest of your assets based on what are these registered assets. So if you use this as a tool, as part of that estate planning, You can allow that, even if it was just half of your RIF, to go to your DAF, and it'll help reduce your overall tax that will then impact the rest of your estate.
And tell me why you chose SOS as the recipient.
Right. Well, like I said, I have donated over the years to different charities, but since moving to Oceanside and getting to know SOS and everything that it's done, it just feels like it's a collection of really great services from babies to seniors. And I know that I've made a difference. I know that it's an amount that I might have donated over the years anyways, but this is a lump sum. And then the charity itself has kind of a little more autonomy over how they use it as well. So
The one thing that I think is incredibly valuable for DAFs and charities is that it aligns each group, each individual, the individual with a group, and it gives transparency for the charity. Like, I think charities love to get one-time gifts for sure. But if you're looking at trying to build a program or a project or whatever, and if that donor can give some clarity and transparency and commitment of money, that really elevates what those charities can do, because they have planning. They're not, they have planning ability, I should say. They're not just at the mercy of what can we do this year, but it's like, what can we do in these coming years?
I'm really proud to be part of that, to be able to contribute in a small way.
Thank you so much for supporting SOS in this way. It really makes a huge difference. Donations like this obviously have a longer lasting legacy, so we really appreciate your support.
You're welcome, Lissa.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing so much information with us today. I think that was very
I hope
eye-opening.
it was helpful.
Yeah,
It's
thanks for coming.
It's one of the best programs I've seen that has evolved in my years of finance. I think it's just a fabulous program.
That's great. Thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you for having me.
SOS is grateful to donors like Brenda and other supporters who are taking forward-thinking steps to really help secure our social safety net now and in the future. So if you have more questions about setting up a donor-advised fund, contact your financial advisor. So I hope everyone found this helpful, and we'll see you next month.